you guys? Welcome to today's video. Today we're finally taking a look at the new Kosas Revealer. Oh my god, the name is so long I can't memorize it. Skin Improving Foundation SPF 25 with hyaluronic acid and niacinamide. I hate to start on a negative note, you guys, but I really hate it when companies make really long names. This is what it is. It looks exactly like my beloved concealer, and I have two other shades. I had a lot of problems with shades for this particular one, and I ended up getting 4 bottles, but 1 bottle I didn't receive because it was sold out. I went to Sephora, they finally got it. I mean, that's how long I've been working on this video, and I got 2 other shades, so 5 shades. This video is going to be different than my usual videos where I do a 3-day wear test and I try it with the fingers and the sponge and the this and the that. I try it with a little powder blush and contour and bronzer, and then I'll try it with creams, and then I'll try it with both creams and powders to see how they wear with different sunscreens, blah blah blah. We are going to do that, but I am going to do a face which every single color. So if we're going to have 5 days, I think we might actually have 6, because I did a day where I mixed 2 colors together, and then I did a day where I put the lighter color all over the face and the darker color around the edges of my face. There's a lot of stuff to see. You will be sped through application after the first application, because this is primarily about the colors. If you've never been here before, hi, I'm Kiki. And I am hooded, and I am 59 years old. My skin is on the drier side. I don't produce all the good stuff that youthful skin produces. I am not oily in the least. I'm on drier side, but I'm not flaky. And my skin isn't dry to the touch, and I generally don't have a tight feeling. So that's me. I do like a dewy kind of natural finish as opposed to a matte finish, because I don't have any texture and I don't have anything to hide. So if you need that, you know, this powders well, actually, so you should hang on. And now, let's talk about the foundation. A clean, skin-improving, medium coverage SPF 25 foundation and treatment with hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, peptide, squalene, vitamin B5, arnica, and caffeine. There is nothing wrong with any of these ingredients. I know that there are some people lately who are like, why does everything have niacinamide in it? I'm very sensitive to it. If you're one of those people, you probably want to stay away from this. But to tell you the truth, it's not like it's the 4th ingredient. So hyaluronic acid is a hydrator. Niacinamide is calming. It's supposed to be calming, smoothing, good for redness. I've been using it for years and I have plenty of redness, so it hasn't done anything like that. But it's supposed to help, and you know, why not? Peptides. There is research that is in vitro, I believe it is, not in vivo, where they say that peptides can help with the production of collagen, but that's all in test tube. We don't know that. What we do know about peptides is it's also hydrating. So there's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't go to it for your collagen skincare. Squalene is I believe squalene is a skin identical. Yes, so that's great, and it helps to balance out your skin. If you're a little oily, squalene can actually help you be less oily, because your skin kind of reads it like, oh, we have plenty of oil here, we don't need to do anything else. Vitamin B5, arnica, caffeine. I'm surprised they put those in here. Caffeine for under the eyes I get, but I'm not really sure why you'd want to put caffeine on your face. Caffeine will constrict your blood vessels and can help undernight puffiness. I personally don't respond to caffeine in that way. Wish I did. But for me, it doesn't do anything. But that's what caffeine's all about. Reading the ingredients, the first ingredient is zinc oxide. It's 7.5%, and that's pretty good. But if you want to use this as your SPF, you're going to be putting a ton of it on, and you're going to go through it pretty quickly. I will say, I think you should use this on top of your regular sunscreen, and it's just an extra booster. But make sure that the sunscreen you are wearing doesn't have avobenzene in it, because zinc and avobenzene are not friends, which isn't to say you cannot use a chemical sunscreen underneath this. You just need to check the ingredients to make sure. Today I used a mineral, but for everything else I didn't. The first ingredients I can pronounce, you know, so there's a whole bunch of things that are for they're carriers, you know, they move across your face. Glycerin, mica. Some people might have ethical problems with mica. This is a clean brand, so I'm going to suppose that their mica is ethical. Cetyl alcohol. Cetyl alcohol is a fatty alcohol. It does not dry your skin. There's, I think, 3 or 4 fatty alcohols. Sodium hyaluronate, palmitol, tripeptide 5, panthenol, squalene, caffeine, arnica, montana, flower extract, artemisia, capillaris, flower extract, lecithin, tocopherol, and phenethyl alcohol. Phenethyl alcohol is the last ingredient here, and phenethyl alcohol is called an aromatic alcohol. So it is both a preservative and a fragrance. But it's at the very end. I don't think at that measure it's a bad thing. So before we get into application, let's get into colors. This morning, before I put on any of my makeup or my skincare, I did face swatching on clean skin that didn't have too much red. So let's cut away to that now. Alright, you guys, I thought we would do some face swatching of all these colors because the back of the hand or the inside of the arm, not really close to my skin tone, and I thought it might be helpful, especially since I have 5 colors. 130, which they are saying is light, neutral, warm. Light with yellow undertones. 190, which they're calling light plus neutral warm. Light with peachy golden undertones. So the first one, same thing, but it was yellow. $180, which is another light plus color. They're saying that this is cool. And then light with cool pink undertones. So this is the only one out of the 5 colors I got that doesn't say it's neutral. But to me, you can't actually be neutral and then say it's predominantly yellow, you know what I mean? Or gold, or peachy, or whatever. To me, neutral means a balance of pink and yellow so that nothing is predominant. And now we're into light medium with 190. They're saying this is light, medium, neutral, warm. Again, can't be neutral and be warm. Light medium with neutral yellow undertones. This is very yellow to me. And now the color I was color matched to, this is 200, which is another light medium, neutral, 200, light medium with subtle pink undertones. And this is the first one I tried. I'm telling you guys, it looked green on me. It looked like I was a little seasick. Now I have noticed that everything seems to darken up lately on me after it dries down. And while these are kind of thick, I'm going to shear them out a little bit so you can see what it looks like applied to the skin. And we can see the dry down in a few minutes. And here they all are kind of blended, thinned out a little bit, but not fully blended. So again, you can get an idea of what the colors are. 130, 170, 180, 190, and 200. $130, $170, $180, $190, and $200, the color I was matched to. This is my Givenchy Prisma Libre, and this is my Makeup Forever Reboot. I personally found the whole looking for a color to be very difficult. I did the color matching, and they told me to get 200, so I did. I didn't want to, but I did, because I felt in my heart of hearts it wasn't going to work But I thought, let's just see. And this is what that looked like. And it appears kind of liquidy. So there she is. She's moving fast. I got the color 200. Now I have to say, I don't think it's scented, but there's a scent. So we'll look into that. I found the colors very difficult, and I thought, I wonder if this is going to be the same thing that it was with the concealers. Like, guys, you're missing a neutral color. This is supposed to be neutral, but I don't think it's incredibly neutral. It seems pretty warm. It seems almost kind of olive to me. It feels very nice. It's a liquid, as you saw, but it's not thick. In fact, it kind of has that same cushiness of the last video I did. I don't know when I'm going to air this exactly, but the foundations from the drugstore. So that slightly viscous feeling seems to be a trend right now. Certainly in the cooler months when you feel that you want to wear something that is comforting. What the description says and what the model looks like, I'm finding more and more are just not related to each other. The model for this seemed to be much darker, and they have something called light plus, and then they have light medium after that. One of the women in light medium is 100% lighter than the two models in the light plus right next to it. One of the models in the light medium is darker, and it's confusing. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the pictures of the models make things more difficult, and I freaking am yellow. Hello. I had used the Sephora tool, the color matching, so you put in your foundations, and most of them, because I used like 3 or 4 foundations, gave me this number. And, you know, Tamara and I were talking on the phone, and we were both thinking, I don't think this color is going to work, because we're about the same depth of tone, but our undertone's slightly different. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to trust what they're telling me and do it. And this color, you guys, I have to pull some down my neck so I don't look crazy. This color is really, really not happening for me. Kosas, do we have to have a little talky talk about stuff? I know that my concealer is going to be far too light for this, and this one's really, really yellow. I'm just going to mix them. I'm going to use this actually a little bit more in the old-fashioned way, just to kind of help with the color situation. I normally wouldn't, but there's no way. Sorry, I'm going out looking like this, so I need to help myself. And this just brings me back to like a long time question that I have, which is, do companies actually put their foundations on people? And if so, are they just looking for people to match their foundations, or are they looking to make sure that all people are covered? Okay, so first of all, I just want to say that this is super comfortable, but now I feel like I now have a lot of product on my face, so I'm just going to, you know, do the whole drag thing. And luckily we're doing a 3-day wear test. So I got this from the Kosas website. It's not in store anywhere, so it's not like I can just run out to Sephora and get one. I'm going to get my beauty blender damp and do a little bit of work on this. It feels very nice, and I'm not sure if I can judge what it looks like so much because I put the concealer over it to help with the color. I am going to stop the camera and do my eyes. So this is what I normally do, foundation on, and do my eyes so the foundation has time to set up. And yeah, we'll be back in a flash. Just yikes. Alright, you guys, I am back. I have done my eyes, and I went over again with the Beauty Blender just for kicks. It's still It doesn't feel completely dry, but it's not a matte formula, and it did have a little bit of a push to it, so I'm not sure that it will. So I do want to try some powder blush and do that on skin that is unpowdered, because you might be someone who doesn't like to powder. So I'm going in with the Rose Dentel from Dior. It's just fresh and right, and there was no pulling or skipping or anything. While I have the brush out, let's just do a little contouring. This is the Charlotte Tilbury. No problem at all. I feel like it's too dark and too wrong. I'm still developing an opinion on this. So I have two powders, and I want to go with the one that is not the lightest. So I'm going to go over with this one. But I don't know if I feel the sheen is too much. They work together absolutely fine. Look, if this was my color, you guys, I would say this looks beautiful. It really does. Okay, I use the same color under the eyes, and that it helps to unify the look a little bit since I have so many different colors on, although it doesn't help to correct how wrong this color is, and I can't really figure out why. I do feel like, because I'm darker than normal, I can punch it up with the blush a little bit. So, I don't think they make these anymore, but if they do, I will link this below. But this was the color that was just the color I turn to all the time, because if I didn't know what to do, this one worked. It was just good for my skin tone, and ooh, a little pigmented. We'll do a little blending with this one, and no problem, even though I haven't powdered the sides of my face. So I think it's very pretty. It's very pretty, and if it was my skin tone, you know, just look at it this way, and it's undeniably a very, very pretty look. This might be a situation that's the same as the concealer, where there's not going to be a color for me, and hopefully they'll come out in a year with a couple of more colors. So I think I'm going to do something, get another color, because I cannot wear this color for 3 days. Look at my hands. Now my hands are, you know, pink, but it's just not a good color. So we're going to figure it out. We truly have a color issue. So I first had the 200, which is very, very wrong, and that's the video you just saw. And then I'd ordered 3 more, but I only got 2 of them, and I don't know when the next one is coming. So I thought this might be interesting and useful to do full face of each one of these colors, because I suspect you're going to have issues with finding a good color from this line. So I'm going to take the lightest one, which is this one, which seems to be the less yellow between the two. One pump. I feel like this is beginning to dry. It's setting up, and I don't feel like I finished my blend yet. Help! I feel like the coverage I have is really decent, but you can tell it's a little bit kabuki-ish, right? It's a little bit too light. So you can do the full face with one pump, 100%, but it does seem to set down, which I did not observe the first time, because the first time it was quite a bit cooler out, and I just gotta look at myself in the monitor and I'm like, ee, that's a scary. All right, now I'm going to take the 200, which is just wrong 100 times over. I don't know why. I can't explain it. And I'm going to do kind of like reverse drag. So usually with drag, they'll go on with a darker color, and then they'll do the big triangles here, and a triangle here, and around here to kind of feminize the face. But instead, I'm going to have a similar effect by using a light base and darker foundation, kind of toasting around the edges. The undertone is really, really wrong. So why don't I just pull in here and you can see what is going on the face and how much coverage I'm getting, and ignore my possibly failed project of trying to use both these colors together. Just simple look. I mean, I'm not doing anything to my eyes, and I don't feel that I need to. I'm not even going to do mascara or brows because, you know what, I feel like the skin looks that good. That's like goals, you know, the skin looks so good, I'm just going to pop on some lips and call it a day. Times a difficult situation for me where it's just a small, very curvy area, and usually kind of have to work on the nose to make sure you aren't skipping. Oh, there's a bunch right here, but there's none right here. And I didn't really have that problem, and I didn't have to build up over here either. So this is adhering to the skin very, very nicely. I think it looks so, so pretty. My biggest complaint, you guys, is the colors are very, very difficult. It kind of breaks my heart. See you in a flash. Alright, you guys, today is day 3. Mind you, day 1 was weeks ago, so I don't even remember. Yesterday was day 2, and I put this on about 11 o'clock in the morning, and at 4:30 I was getting ready to take Lucy out, and I took a look in a larger mirror, and I saw just a little bit of gathering right here. Not a lot. All I did was go boop, 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 and it was gone. And I think to most people with regular eyesight, probably not something that they would have seen, but I don't have regular eyesight, so I have to go to these big mirrors. It felt comfortable all day long. I took it off probably around 8 o'clock, but I do feel that I got long wear, and I usually do feel that I get long wear. Foundations don't disappear on me. It looked really, really beautiful. For today, though, we're going to do 170. Again, one pump. It just seems like their colors are an issue. They call a lot of their colors neutral, but then they'll say neutral yellow or neutral peach, and you can't be both neutral and peach. To me, neutral is when one color doesn't dominate. So you have pink and yellow, but the foundation doesn't look like it's one or the other. We'll see how this works when it blends in. It might dissipate, and it is kind of dissipating, that yellow. Oh, this might actually work out for me. It's pretty fast. It applies pretty fast, and it doesn't look too bad in real life. I'm like, not bad at all. On the camera, or my monitor, which is my computer, looks a little off. So, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in some other mirrors and come back at you. But before I do that, yesterday I did some arm swatches, which I forgot to add this to, but I'm not going to make the whole mess again. Instead, Charlotte Tilbury number 4, which is a pretty good match for me with the 170 right next to it. And the 170 has been on my hand for just a minute, so I'm going to add a little bit more. So they're both fresh swatches, and I would say when this dries down, it gets very peachy. This is it, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury. So both laid down, and I think that you can see that the Charlotte Tilbury just is more neutral in its tone. You guys, I think I'm kind of done. I'm keeping it pretty simple. It is so hot. I can feel I'm about to sweat. So I powdered the face with the Kosas, and it's shiny already because it's getting so hot. And I'm going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to mix a couple of colors together and see if that's any better. But we'll also see how is this going to work in the heat, because I think today, which is supposed to be cooler than yesterday, is not going to make it. I'll see you in a snap. So I'm sitting here talking to the camera, and I look down like, oh, it's not on. I think Mercury is in retrograde. So I'm going to talk to you as I put this on, but today I took the darkest color, which is 200. It's too dark and the undertone is wrong. It's weird. I don't know what it is. They say it's pink, but it felt like it was green. And the lightest one that I have, which really has a very neutral undertone, although it says warm. And I mixed those together equally. So the shade I wore yesterday wasn't bad. I think it was 170, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't 100% right. And it wore beautifully. This brush is a Kat Von D powder brush, and Hindash uses this for foundation. It was hot yesterday, and I did start to sweat as I was shooting this yesterday, and it felt oddly kind of tight and uncomfortable later on in the day, but I feel that that was a combination of the foundation, the powder, I may have overpowdered a little bit, and sweat. So when I sweat, it starts here, and I just kind of go like this to, you know, get rid of the sweat and work it into my skin. And the skin looked fine, it didn't look weird, but I feel like that combination kind of made everything, it made some kind of concoction on my face that was tightening, which means drying. But I did not experience a drying feeling on the first day. In fact, I find that this is very comfortable. Really good for a dry skin, but if you have normal skin, you're not going to find that it's greasy or oily. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do concealer. Alright, so the Kosas on the lips, under the eyes and on the eyes, and then I did a little bit of my brow and a little bit of mascara, and I did check in the other room, and I absolutely feel that there is an olivey undertone to the shade 200 on my skin. On your skin it might be different. So I'm going to go in with this by Terry powder that is very lightly pink. I think if you're like me and your skin is really more on the neutral side, and you find that a lot of things are too yellow, having a pink powder is a really good thing. But this isn't very pink, so that helps with the shine a little bit and helps with the color just a little bit, not much, mainly because I'm not putting it everywhere on my face. I like the look. Forehead looks amazeballs. Once again, I'm going to pull you in really close so you can see what's going on and kind of compare it to the other days, and you know, see if you prefer one application over the other. Today I really added some to get better coverage, especially since my face was so red today, and yeah, I think it's really beautiful on the skin. I really do. I'm just having color issues. All right, this is Alright you guys, this is going to be shade number 180. I was editing this last night and decided to reshoot this one because I originally shot it right after it rained and the light was just bad. I couldn't tell what the color was like. And now that I've been editing this, I have a better idea of what I want to do because there's so many. I'm just going to put this on the face, we'll fast forward, show you what it looks like with the concealer all done, because I've noticed when a shade isn't working for me, I can still somehow kind of make it look okay after I put on my makeup. And I didn't show you very much, I'll think, what it looked like with just the concealer and the foundation on. So that's what we're going to do for this one. 180, I like the fingers best for application. I find that the brush actually takes longer. I did do another brush application, a different kind of brush, which I didn't like. So you want a brush that's a little more dense for this, and let's get into it. Alright, so there is just the foundation, and I don't have full coverage. I didn't build it up. You can still see a lot of the redness on my face. I did do a bit of a massage, and I did my mile lift, and I did my red lights. I did a lot this morning, which tends to make me look a little red, and I will say quite consistently that all of these shades do dry down a little bit darker. I don't think you would say they oxidize per se, but they do get a little darker. Now I'm going to put on the concealer and we'll be right back. All right, so this I think has settled down into the color that it's going to be, and as you can see, I didn't do heavy coverage. I didn't get heavy coverage. I'm going to add, because I think you'll get a better idea of what the color is if I put on more. Because a lot of colors can work, certainly not all, as we know from this video, if they're sheared out. And this does have a pink undertone, and I really don't want a pink undertone because I'm trying to cover all my redness, you know? I'm not trying to match the redness of my face. I'm trying to cover it. And there we have it. I'm going to let this dry down. I could put a little bit more on my forehead, and we'll see what color this dries down to. This does set up pretty darn fast, so back in a flash. All right, so this has settled in. I was just off for maybe 2 minutes. It could probably use a little bit more time to settle in, but I think you get a good idea of what the color is. I'm going to do a little bit of powder because, again, I think when there's no reflection, you can see better what the color is. And there we have it powdered. Now I'm going to put on some makeup and come back with the final look. And here's the final look. I just did a little blush and a little bit of bronzer. That's it. I have just a gloss on my lip, and I put some of the blush on my eyes and filled out my brows. No mascara, nothing else. And I am looking in the monitor and I can just see that this color does not relate to my skin, but it might relate to yours, and that's what we're here for, right? Now, the next day is 190, I believe, and it's also what I was wearing in the intro and in the outro. I decided to skip putting on the makeup because my hair was a little crazy. I was doing my hair video at the same time, and I didn't really finish my makeup during that, so it wasn't a fabulous final look to go from. So I'm just going to show you a teeny clip. This was a clip I was going to use in the hair video, and midway through it I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. But you can get an idea of what it looks like with the full makeup, with that particular color, and I think it's a little light. And here I just tucked it behind the ears, which I think also helps. I'm just going to scoot back a little bit. Yeah. All right, you guys, so what do I think of this foundation? Let's not talk about the colors. I think it looks so pretty on the skin. Every time I put it on, I felt kind of excited. In fact, I think I like it better, but I don't know why, than the Charlotte Tilbury. They're very similar in their finish. This is something that's thicker than this, but this does have a little bit of thickness to it. But there's something about it that's very, very, very pretty. And you can build it well. Same thing with the Charlotte Tilbury. This has different colors, certainly, and I think I've spoken plenty about the colors. It works well with all my other products, and it works well with most of my sunscreens. I don't think it worked that well with today's sunscreen, which is the Elastin. But I have to tell you, and I don't know if it's the weather or if it's me, there were a couple of days where at the end of the day, I felt my skin and I thought, it feels like there's a dryness here. Now, we've had a lot of wind and a lot of things are blooming, so I can just see pollen and dust and all this stuff flying around. And it's possible that the reason it doesn't feel nice is because little pieces of stuff is just sticking to my face. Not that this feels sticky. In fact, I feel that this sets up pretty darn quickly. And while it's not transfer proof, it doesn't have that moist feeling. It doesn't feel like, ooh, yuck. I'm afraid if I use my phone, my face is going to end up on it, kind of a thing. So I feel like if it weren't for the color problems, this would be a huge, huge, huge thumbs up. On the other hand, you could be a very different undertone from me, and they might have a color that suits you perfectly, and then it's fantastic. You guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. I sure hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.